Like many other industries, emergency responders and ambulance services are facing staffing and funding issues. It's especially true in our rural Northland communities, and that's dangerous. At a roundtable in Duluth today, several groups talked about the problem and some possible solutions. Northern News Now's Larissa Millis lays out the help they're hoping to get.
When someone is facing a crisis, quick response from emergency medical services can be the difference between life and death.
There's a lot of rural Minnesota that is struggling. We are at a crisis point in being able to deliver that service.
John Fox is a full-time paramedic and the secretary-treasurer of the Minnesota Ambulance Association. His organization and the Center for Rural Policy and Development hosted a roundtable discussion Wednesday. Panelists spoke about issues concerning rural EMS service, namely staffing and funding.
Currently, we are having a very hard time finding those people to staff. The funding isn't there to pay people to do it. We've always gotten it volunteer, so now we have to try and pay somebody. There's no money to make that happen.
Fox says in the most recent recertification cycle, twice as many people let their license expire. Hibbing Fire Chief Eric Jankala was a panelist at the roundtable. He says one step toward a solution is raising awareness.
The more awareness that we can bring out to the public, who are basically our constituents, our citizens, and then B, to be honest with you, our legislative folks.
Jankala says intervention to help with staffing and funding can and should come from all levels.
It really needs federal assistance, it needs state assistance, it needs local assistance to make this system work.
Working hard to save lives. In Duluth, Larissa Millis, Northern News Now.
Fox says he encourages anyone with concerns about EMS services in their community to share them with your local provider. He says that'll help organizations like his know what other issues the industry faces. New tech